The land we purchased in 87, say 50 paise square feet. Now the same is 1200 rupees a square feet.
How did you get into real estate? And at what age did you start?
Started in my mind 16. You see, there was a movie called Trishul. Where Amitabh Bachchan becomes a builder kind of. Definitely at that age you get inspired. Let's put our land on Amazon for sale. And real estate is called real estate because it is real.
It had to take a pandemic to, make all of us realize that okay, I miss nature.
I will go further one step. That first you should buy a land, then you should look out for a flat. You can always rent a flat. You cannot rent a land.
Hi guys, today I'm genuinely super excited about this episode of the Real Estate Show with Mayank because today I'm going to talk about my favorite topic in the whole wide world, and which is land. And in front of me, we have a veteran with over 40 years of experience. In fact, we have two generations of the family business sitting in front of me who are experts in the land business. They've acquired around 3 crore square foot of land in current and future developments. I would like to introduce Mr. Shailesh Malpani and Mr. Aarav Malpani. Thank you so much for coming on the show and giving us your time.
Thank you so much for having us, Mayank.
Thank you so much for coming here. And it's going to be a very insightful conversation for all of us and everyone who wants to somehow invest and get into land. I just got something from my end, which was
Thank you.
a
Thank you
token
so
of
much.
appreciation.
Thank you.
And this is a part of our green initiative.
Fantastic.
Plants, because flowers die, but plants always.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. We too believe in that.
Planted in one of our lands.
Oh, right.
And just something that I've written,
great.
2 books.
Oh wow. Okay.
Fantastic.
How to balance
Perfect
country,
subject.
home.
It is the need of the time.
Need of the time.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much again for coming. You've had a lot of experience, right? And especially in such a notorious industry, right? And you all have done it in a very structured manner. You've organized the land business in a, such an unorganized business you've organized, with 40 years of experience. So my first question to you would be, how did you get into real estate? And at what age did you start?
Started in my mind 16. Yeah, you see, there was a movie called Trishul, released in 78, 79. And there Amitabh Bachchan becomes a builder kind of a thing.
Right.
To real estate he is. So it definitely at that age you get inspired. And after that, as I was in Pune, Pune is a phenomenal market. I have my relatives who are into real estate. And after seeing them, definitely got inspired and came in this line, joined this line.
At 16, that's a great that you start young.
Yeah, when I was 18, I just went to college, but Dad was already constructing when he was 18, I think. So
Right. Start young. I think what's happening in today's time is that people do graduation, then they do post-graduation. पढ़ाई लिखाई में करते they're 25, 26. So I think it's great. Always good to start young. I always wanted to understand. So you did construction first, right?
Right.
And then from construction,
Residential project.
And then from residential, you shifted to land banking.
Absolutely.
And so how did that shift happen?
It's a great story. Yeah. We started with this residential apartment in Aund area, Pune. And as I was very young, and I had my senior engineers and all, while doing the marketing, a person came to our office and he asked me a question. In Marathi, he said, "3D firel ka?" Means what do you call it? The Arthi staircase mein se jayegi kya? I said, see, this is a Pune Municipal Corporation sanction plan, and we have done as per the sanction plan. Everything is sanctioned. So my engineer told him, भाई, this is not the right question. Arthi हमेशा घर के बाहर बनाते हैं, घर के अंदर नहीं बनाते हैं. So don't ask wrong question to a young guy.
Right.
Okay. So I thought the Pune customers are very choosy and particular. Okay. It is very difficult to deal for at that age.
Right.
So then I thought, let's go think of a land also. And yes, then we shifted into a land after a few buildings. We shifted into a land.
Right. Lovely. And what about you, Aarav? Do you want to also get back into construction along with land banking?
Yes and no, we keep having this debate, but I feel like land is the first passion, and for dad also. And then after that, to utilize the land, you have to sort of do construction. So that's where I'm trying to like convince dad a little bit, like,
Right.
let's start
Let's
again.
just
And
start.
dad is like, why do you want to receive phone calls? You know, यहाँ से leakage हो रहा है,
और
वो हो
ऐसी
रहा है. You know, he does not like to get into that, but I like it. So I think creating something from scratch is what is fascinating, and that land also gives you that opportunity. And land is land till you also utilize it, right?
Correct.
Like there are a lot of opportunities, a lot of like options to utilize it, and
Right.
utilize it in a creative way is what I want to do.
Right.
Like I don't want to just make a traditional building or something like that. My like passion or this thing would be to make a iconic structure, or like you know,
Correct.
something different, unique,
To do justice to the
to do
land.
justice to the land. Yeah.
Right, right.
So-
Lovely. So, of course, you've seen residential, commercial, industrial, and land as well over the last 40 years, right? According to you, what out of these is the best investment option?
For a person to buy.
Yes.
Okay, it depends upon how fast return you want,
Right.
how much is your holding capacity, and how urgently you need your money back.
Right.
Suppose if you have a gold, you go overnight in 5 seconds you get
Yeah,
your
bank,
money back.
yeah.
Okay, but here if you buy say agricultural land, it will take some little more time as you are far away from the
Right.
town. It will take some time, and if you have an industrial land, again it depends in what area you are in. Residential plots comparatively little faster
Right.
because you are close to the town, but then the return on investment will varies from everywhere.
Even the ticket size sort of varies, right? Like if you are buying in a place like Mumbai or Pune, the price per square feet is so high that your initial capital required is very high. Then you'll calculate the interest on that and everything, and you know that might not sound as lucrative. But the moment you go a little bit further away and you invest in land,
Right.
then that ROI, that calculations, it all starts making sense.
Right.
You know, depending on what is your time frame also. Like for example, in the stock market also, if you see like it's like a person usually like tries to make money very quickly, but that never happens.
We've seen the
But
crypto.
the crypto one as well, yeah. A lot of people my age are trying crypto, and you know they see massive upswings in 24 hours, that too.
And then the same
And
downswing.
the same downswing, yeah. The higher you rise, the faster you fall.
Absolutely.
And in real estate, it's been sustained. I think my Dadaji's Dadaji would have wanted to buy land, I'm sure, and so does my dad.
Real asset,
And-
tangible asset. You can see it. You
So
can
the
feel
land
it.
we purchased in 87, say 50 paise square feet. Now the same is 1200 rupees a square feet.
My God.
So if you consider the market interest rate, which is generally 21% to 24% per annually
For builders.
for
Not
builder,
for-
in
for-
building market, not banking. I'm
That's
talking
still
about.
very high, 24%.
Yeah, in real estate market, this goes on as a, for builders because the funding, as it is not declared as an industry for banks,
Right.
you have to take a private finance. That is where this percentage comes. So if you compound that interest with this 50 paise square feet and now 1200 rupees a square feet, still this is more.
It's beaten that.
It's
as well.
beaten that also.
This over a period of I believe 37 odd years, from 50 paise to 1200 rupees, that's 2400 times, 2400x. That's a phenomenal return.
Phenomenal.
I think the idea is to be matured about land investments. That's why we see a lot of matured investors in the land space.
Right.
You have to hold and you have to wait.
Absolutely.
That's I think the main
Patience.
key. Right.
And real estate is called real estate because it is real estate.
Yeah, that's right. In fact, so when we talk to people younger, we always tell them that look, because you're young, because you're in your mid-20s or early 30s, it makes all the more sense for you to buy the land because you can wait. You have time to, actually get the appreciation over 30 years. But a lot of times, people are obsessed with the crypto industry. They want to see returns in 1 day, 2 days. But
It is just like a meditation,
Right.
As you go early in meditation, you start early in college time,
Right.
and you have more time for meditation
Right.
as you go older and older.
Right.
So it is always beneficial as you step in earlier.
Also, you get the lower rates now and not in the future. Your investment will also be higher, and then plus you can like do it in a phased way, right? Like right now you buy land, you keep it, don't do anything, recover, make whatever your job is, then you start building it slowly in a sustained way. So you make a better sort of house or property for yourself also in the way you have grown. So for example, you right now your interest might be to have a crazy TV room or like a crazy game room, but then in the future that same thing might turn into a vegetable garden or like an organic farm or like, you know, so you can like sort of like shape your land your way as you're growing also. So and the same way the project
So
will
much to
also
do.
grow
Land
with
के ऊपर
you.
कुछ भी कर सकता है
Yeah.
आदमी, dynamic. Now, what are some of the mistakes that you see common people, a person, a layman? What are the common mistakes a layman makes when they buy land?
Favorite topic.
Too many mistakes they make. Say, suppose they buy it from a developer. Now, one thing is good that there is a RERA now.
Right.
Because of RERA, this security definitely you get. But if you buy directly, then there are the titles is very difficult nowadays.
Right.
Very tough to get a clear land, and plus the quality of the land. Like now, this is you say you are in Sahyadri belt, okay? In Maharashtra, it's a Sahyadri belt region. We are in that region. So if you go on the mountain, it's all rocky. It's a black basalt.
Right.
And if you go bottom to the means on the ground level, it is again a paddy field. That is, paddy grows only on the rock because they need a waterlogging situation over there. So the midway to this is the hillock. If you
Right.
buy a land on hilltop, then maximum hilltops are of lateritic soil.
Right.
So that is where the soil is, and it's not rocky. So generally, these kind of mistakes definitely person makes. So one has to look into the matter, okay, what I am buying, from whom I am buying, and where I am buying. And the second thing is the water availability. Perennial source of water is required. Generally, Konkan, you get water at very, say in 7 feet also you get water. But as soon as you put on the pump,
Yeah,
it gets over in 5 minutes. So it has no pumping capacity, it has no water storage, and recatchment of water is not there. So one has to be very careful about the title, water availability, the soil availability, otherwise you go on the rocks.
Also demarcation, right? Like when you are buying from a farmer, he might show you this land, but how do you know that land is on that place? You know, it might be shifted into the road, or you know, there might be some other issues with it. So the benefit of buying from a developer is that you get a very thoroughly checked plot of land. You have all the permissions required. We do all the basic infra also for people. So you don't have to worry about those things which are not your forte.
Correct.
These things are our forte, so we can do it. We do it efficiently. We do it quickly. But the moment you start doing it, try pulling a electric line. Like I think that has gone through all the phases, and I have just walked into a, you know, like a cakewalk situation. But still, there's so much more work to be done from this point forward as well.
Right.
So just getting it till here is a
And
massive,
the local
massive
issues,
task.
they seem small, but they can stop
Yeah.
a project completely.
Absolutely,
You know, they
absolutely.
seem small at the time of
Absolutely.
purchasing. People say, "अरे वो संभाल लेंगे वो,"
हाँ.
but वो नहीं संभालता है.
Never
And
happens.
the mindset, local mindset is very different from a city mindset
Right.
that we have. Like a person may not be reasonable. Like
Ego,
he
lot
might
of
not
ego
see
issues
logic.
happen,
He
yes.
might not see the same way you have seen life because he has seen something else, and
Right.
he's coming from a fair point. So yeah, I think all
Right.
these issues make it very hard to like buy land directly.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's why.
Security problems, all kind of problems.
Right. And how many times have you seen title defects in your, you know, when you're acquiring land?
Maximum.
Maximum.
Say in say 50 to 70% lands,
Right.
you have to give away the land because of that. Once you go in for details for 30 years or 60 years, there are so many defects, so many types of defects.
Absolutely.
And people don't enter their names and just father, sister's name, wife's name, different names. So there is a shortfall on the entries. So it is very difficult to get a clear title land.
साल 12 से नाम हटा देते हैं.
No,
वो settlement नहीं करते.
the true will might not be the same will that has been used, or like might not be the last will. Then you have to see into all that, and why do you want to go into somebody else's family this thing and stuff like that. So all these issues come up. Maybe not now. You might be very happy with your land for 10 years. Maybe after 10 years, the person might have another son or something like that, and he will come and start causing issues. And when the father is not alive, or like when the original landlord in this case is not alive, who is there to like say that you had a deal and this thing? Only that paper, and on that paper his share is also rightfully there.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
you
And
have
even
to,
the laws, previous laws were such that the photograph was not required. Even the power of attorney was not registered.
Right.
So these kind of problems are there. They come up as a past problems, and it creates a lot of issues in the title.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think a lot of problems also revolve around succession laws,
yeah,
where what we have seen a lot is that दो भाई और एक बहन है, and दो भाई ने
Yeah.
land बेच दिया
uh,
without the
correct,
sisters'
consent, or
and the sub-registrar has gone and registered the sale deed, right? And then उसका हक तो फिर भी है, right? She
Yes.
can come back in 10
exactly,
years, and,
exactly.
and it's especially in rural parts, it's always
Absolutely.
so
Always,
hard
always
to.
the case.
In fact, we know people who have bought land like 10, 15 years ago, and I know those people, and I asked them, there's a problem in the land now, and I asked them, so did you get a title search
Search,
report done
yeah.
historically? They're like, no, we just bought the
We
land.
just got it.
So I think, yeah, absolutely makes
But
sense.
I
You have
really
people to
I
do that.
appreciate what RERA is doing.
Right,
It's fantastic.
right,
RERA is definitely a good security for a buyer also and a developer also.
right. And it's improved the trust overall in the industry as well.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Now, what's one type of land that you would never buy?
That we would never buy.
That's something that you don't like, a type of land that you
I know
don't like.
Dad's answer. On the rocks.
On the rocks.
Yeah, if you go in our region, the Sahyadri belt, then maximum lands are on the rock. Means there is a katar, they call it in local language, they call it a katar,
Right.
or a black basalt. So such kind of land is of no use. It heats up, it retains the heat, and it leaves the heat at night.
Right.
It becomes so difficult to live on it. But the maximum, they don't understand. They go and buy it. And if you see nowadays, this Pali-Khopoli road is quite in discussion. If you go along Pali-Khopoli road, then what you see is throughout a high tension line. So people are coming from town and cities and want a second home or whatever they call it. But then what view they have is a high tension line. It's on the rocks land, and there is no soil.
Yeah, I mean, in the rainy season, there'll be waterlogging over there. Then some of the projects which are close to factories and stuff like that, I would not buy land there either, because you're going outside cities for a better AQI, you're going for a better life, you're going for like a longer life also. So why would you want to buy next to a factory that's producing harmful chemicals, or like, whatever the thing is, there is some discharge. It can be in the groundwater, it can be in the air. So it's both visible and invisible. But all these factors should be taken into account while selecting the right land.
There's so many things that can go wrong,
Absolutely.
and a person's life savings can be wiped out because there's
Correct.
big investments in the end.
And
Even there are fly-by-night developers.
Right.
They just come, they don't even do the sale deeds and all.
Yeah.
And they just transfer they call it starting the agreement to sell
Right.
on further. Whereas generally we purchase it on our name and then we transfer it to the
Only
customer.
after the conveyance is when you
Conveyance
transfer
we
it.
transfer.
Not that MOU.
No,
Yeah.
we don't.
Saate
do that.
gat pe transfer
Absolutely.
kar diya. Right,
Absolutely,
right.
absolutely.
You had spoken of a water problem, right?
Right.
A couple of answers ago.
Correct.
Now, do you feel that Maharashtra could potentially face a water shortage? And do you feel like when people buy land, because water is the most important thing,
Basic thing.
yeah, basic thing,
First
and I
thing,
think people ignore that, right?
Absolutely.
So, do you think people are ignoring that when they buy land? as well?
Absolutely, absolutely. Means I have seen developers where they construct a overhead water tank and they tell customers, see, there is a tank. So customer feels, so there is a tank, so there is a water.
Right.
But actually there is no water.
See, you can be fooled by seeing the infra, but what is feeding the infra?
Correct. It has to
That
have the
has to be strong.
fundamentals.
Yeah.
First thing we see that there is a perennial source of water,
Right.
which will never get exhausted. So next 20 years, 25 years, yeah, definitely there is going to be a water shortage throughout the world.
Right.
But our project will be the last project which will get exhausted by water because of
Right.
water, definitely.
Lovely. Now, Aarav, you had a computer science background,
Right.
right? From USC. So can you tell me how that has kind of helped you in real estate?
In real estate, I feel like because of my computer science background, I learned coding, and coding is very structured.
Right.
Okay, so the computer reads it line by line, and also you need to know if that condition, something that's outside the scope, is not there. What do you do in that case? Okay, either you throw a error in computer science, or you sort of have boundary edge cases and things like that. So same ways, when I'm looking at a project, or like when my approach towards developing anything would be to first write down a structure as the ideal situation, what should happen. After that ideal situation, there should be contingencies for each and every possibility that could go wrong, or like out of your control, or like there can be, like, for example, if the wall has not been constructed straight or something like that, you need to know what is to be done to make sure that your next process is not hampered because of this one delay, or like
In a
one
robotic way,
in a-
almost systematic, organized way. Basically.
yeah, but it has to happen before, while writing the code, right? Like, so while you're planning it, it has to happen like what is the future problem that you might face, and you should already have a solution.
If then, yeah.
If then,
Got it.
exactly.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And there can be so many.
There can be a lot of
Thens.
if and thens.
Yeah, a lot of if and-
And I feel like, especially like in India, there are a lot of if and thens, because like random things keep happening. Like,
Right.
And honestly, when dad is a Vipassana teacher,
Right.
and he also practices a lot of meditation and goes for long courses. And I think the most hardest part is when he goes for courses and he leaves like all the responsibilities on me. And during that time, I'm telling you, I think everything happens. Okay, I've seen a lot of like local issues come up, a lot of like decisions that need to be made, like otherwise the future work will get
Right,
delayed or
right,
something
right.
like that. All those decisions have to
I
do
think
it
they
very
also know
quickly.
the phone for 10 days. Phone is off.
Not just 10 days, 30 days also.
Oh my God, that's
Yeah.
a long time. And you've been very deep into Vipassana, right? You also teach. I think you teach there as well, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Right, I am assistant to my teacher, means
Wow.
principal teacher. So they call us an assistant
And how
teacher.
has that kind of helped you develop your lands in a certain way? Has that had some impact on
Basically,
you?
ethical practices. Now, just in last week, I received a call from one lady saying, "Sir, I received a message. Sir, I was working with you, and I have to return your money." I said, "And my name is so and so." I said, "I don't remember it." "No, sir, I was working with you in 2008." I said, "I don't remember. I thought it's a
Scam.
fake, some scam."
Mm.
Okay, and she transferred amount. She transferred amount, and I was reluctant. I sent my office person to inform the bank that, see, this money has received. We don't want to accept that. Then I received a call from her saying that, "Sir, after leaving your job, I went for a Vipassana, and in every meditation session, it was disturbing me that I have to pay back your money, I have to pay back your money, and now I am in a position to pay back your money, and I am transferring it to you."
Wow.
So that is what happens. You go for ethical practices. You yourself correct yourself.
Right.
You have your own checks, and yeah, you feel so good. Means you work without any tension, and if you don't do anything wrong, nothing is going to wrong with you. Simple.
So when you go and select land, right? I'm sure there must be many methods. Like, of course, we all have methods like where you check the legal issues, of course, the
Right.
regulatory issues, the views, and all of that. But my question to you is, do you trust the vibration of the land and your own gut?
Absolutely. See, there are different land has different story. Say, for example, if you go to Jhaveri Bazaar, it's a gold market.
Right.
If you go to Fountain or Nariman Point, it has a different kind of a vibe.
Right.
So it is developed for commercial use. Here it is developed for gold trading and all.
Right.
If you go to Bhuleshwar, it's a different market. If you go to Kamatipura,
Right.
it's a different market.
Right.
Bangkok is famous for something else.
Right.
Switzerland is famous for something else. See, this is the land behavior or land vibes, which definitely attracts the same kind of a thing. It's law of frequency. So every land has its own future, and every land has its own vibes and story.
Right.
I think there are some interesting stories. You should ask that about those.
You talk about some acquisition stories.
Acquisition story.
Yeah, when you know some land dealing, that's
Yeah, absolutely. We are planning to buy. We like one old house in Mahabaleshwar. So we asked the neighbor who it belongs to whom. So we got the phone number. I called the person. I told him we are interested in buying this your bungalow. So he said, okay, come down to Bombay. We decided a price on phone. Okay, he said, come down with the advance to Bombay and we'll do the deal. I said, I'll bring the Satega. That time it was called a Isar Pauti, Yeah. So we prepared a Isar Pauti on 5 rupees, 10 rupees stamp paper and went to Bombay. He gave us the this Mangal Karyalaya address. And we went there. We thought must be his office or so, or he must be staying next door to that Karyalaya. But it was his daughter's engagement. That time mobile was quite new. We called him on mobile. He said, yeah, come in, come in. We went inside, some function was going on. He said, yeah, I'm on the stage. He is waving me from the stage. I waved. I said, I'm coming. He came down and same time he said, this is my daughter's engagement. And there on the stage, the boy was putting ring in his daughter's finger and he was signing the document. I said, what is it? He said, I purchased it when she born and now I am selling it and the whole expenses of the wedding, this plot will take care, this bungalow will take care. So this is the thing.
so the land served its purpose.
Absolutely. Means when she bought, land came to him and when she is leaving him, land is leaving him. So it's a very different story. Land is a very different kind of a business. And yes, land knows where to go, how to go, whom to go. And definitely it has a behavior.
Do you believe in destiny as well when it comes to land?
Definitely. There are lands I have seen where the big landlord is selling, a very big group selling the land because the land was with the community people. He sold the land to us and the people started working on the land. They started fighting. The couples involved in our staff, they started getting divorced. And we partners, when I was out of country, he sold the land without asking me.
So I think
So when you were out of the country, your partner sold the land.
yeah,
Okay,
so
so
that land had just fight written in it, I think.
Yeah, that land has a fighting vibration. So whatever you do, whoever comes in that land, they have a bad relationship with each other. So every land has its vibe. So it's different.
And what happened? So your partner sold that land to somebody else,
Right.
right? And he must have removed your name just from the Satbar, I'm assuming.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
So what happened then to that? Like
After say now it is almost 15 years and the prices have gone up. Now everybody checks the title.
right?
It came back to me saying that we need your signature.
Absolutely, with the title
So, yeah,
report.
So the
right.
destiny is always there.
Right.
So land wants to come to you, it will come back to you.
Right.
And if it wants to go, it will go.
So again, there's a legal battle on that land. Now, have you ever been scammed in a land deal?
Same.
This, I mean, yeah. Apart
This
from
is the biggest scam, I think. Like,
and this is in fact
Yeah.
what you acquired. You got scammed.
Exactly.
But like, have you been scammed in something that you're trying to acquire? You know, sometimes you give a token to someone and he just runs away.
like,
There are many
Yeah,
incidences.
right.
Many. Suppose say every village has say certain in outside gut number and survey numbers. Like we are in city, we have a city survey number.
Right.
So say for example, we take any random one village has say 100 gut numbers. Okay, but the people sell 101 gut number. So if he gives the advertisement, no one is going to
so no
object.
No objection.
No objection will be get, and they prepare a fake 712 extract,
Right.
and they just sell it. Registrar is there only to register it.
Correct.
But now systems have changed, so this thing has little bit
Online.
curtailed. Right. But initially, there unbelievable scams had gone.
Khosla ka khosla.
Right, absolutely.
Land hai nahi.
also
Correct.
like boundary scams and all. Like, I feel like if it's not demarcated well,
I think a
and stuff
government
like
boundary
that.
survey
Yeah.
is the most important thing, right?
Right.
I mean, to get the exact demarcation and then purchase a land. But how many people even do it, right? Nobody,
Absolutely.
you know.
Absolutely.
Now,
Very
Aarav,
different.
speaking of khosla ka khosla, right? how do you think blockchain? Do you see a real case implementation of blockchain here?
Yes, so it's a clear case where blockchain would be very helpful. Like, so for example, the ledger is shared, everybody has a copy of it, any transaction going has to be recorded on the blockchain, and that,
Right.
like, sort of gives more transparency in the whole process, as well as exactly the ownership details of
So
it,
here
the
I
history
feel,
of it.
here I feel that we should have like they do dematting of the share. So there should be a dematting of land also.
So that
Means that kind of a thing.
it's something similar, right? Then you have the all your history and everything tracked with it, and it will definitely like help you get a land that is definitely yours, and you
Right.
can call that it's definitely mine.
And no record change can
no
happen.
record change can happen because it has to change on all the ledgers
Nodes, yes.
simultaneously.
Now that's why I told him because our land is totally cleared, we have a RERA and all. So let's put our land on Amazon for sale, our plots. Okay, but then Amazon requires a RERA number as a broking company. They will need a RERA certificate.
Okay,
RERA
that's very
number.
new to me. So you can put plots of land on
No,
Amazon?
that is what we are
that's
thinking.
we
Let's put
wanted
our
to do that.
because it is so tested and so perfect product.
Right.
That is like a factory product. That is where we bring our property to that level.
Right.
So it's well developed, perfectly typed. The title is checked. Everything is clear. We have RERA
And correctly
number.
priced on Amazon.
Correctly
Everybody
priced.
goes for a good price, right?
Yeah,
Like it's correctly priced, and you can compare it.
But I think this is the future because, see, sooner, 200 years ago, nobody thought a plane could fly, right?
Absolutely.
Nobody knew what a mobile, or we would see back in the day what even fire was. So invention is like that. You can't imagine it till it happens, right? So I'm a firm believer that you can digitalize the sale process. What's your take on that? Like, do you feel this actually happening? And
Yeah.
people just buying land through the internet, how we buy a mobile
Absolutely.
phone?
I don't see, means the day Amazon thinks they are okay with that, we are okay for giving our product.
Right.
And you can buy the land online without any hesitation. Just you have to see who is the developer.
Right.
Once you see our
The
kind of a
reliability
name,
comes,
you can
yeah.
go ahead.
Right.
That is
So
where
government
reliability.
Government is, yeah, it's a whole different issue. Like even if you want to create something creatively, right? Like you want to get a sanction for a new layout, like you're passing a new NA layout. In that, for example, the road widths, or like I wanted to like do a little creative avenue and stuff like that. You can't do all those things now, and it's very hard to get your creativity out within the rules. And like this thing also, like the Amazon thing, technically they need to be your partner in the RERA portal. Like they need to have their own RERA agent ID and stuff like that. So like doing creative things, yes, there are a lot of things that you would want to do, and like it's amazing things can happen, but within the regulated stipulations, that's hard.
Yeah, I think that, like you rightly said, the road width within the new project, that's increased, right?
Yeah.
And it's linked to the length of the
Road.
plot as well. And I
Right.
think that now from 9 to 12, even 15 meters.
15
Absolutely.
meters and
15 meters, I can land a plane.
It's a runway.
Why would I need 15 meters for a villa farmhouse project though? Because the
Right.
density is not there.
Absolutely.
And the runways we make are better than the ones that the government
I'm
makes.
sure that because it's properly
You
privatized.
see, I drive in my project. I can drive, means you can drive your car with the speed of 80, 90. No issues. But on public road, I don't think so.
I think that's
you
very
can
well
do that.
put. That's a great sign of a
That-
good road that you can drive at 80
I always get scared.
without being, safely. So I think that's
Absolutely.
a great sign.
Absolutely.
Good way to put it. Now, what is one thing that you love and hate? You have to say both. One thing that you really love, one thing that you hate about the land business.
I'll let that go first.
Land, I basically love the soil. The red color of the soil, lateritic soil, it's beautiful. Okay. You are connected to the soil. One.
Right.
More and more you go for some course or some outside. When you come back, the prices have gone up. It always appreciates. It never goes down. You show me any land which is going down. Okay. So it is a fantastic thing. It is a very safe thing to go for. And what you hate about land is, I don't see any point about hating the land. No one can hate the land. It's always a love. It's a mother earth. So I don't see any.
What about like, do you have issues with approval processes? Does
Yeah,
that,
so
or
that-
just now you're used to it?
No, that's what I was going to say. Like, I love the potential that a land can give you and the freedom it can give you, financially also and creatively also. But what I hate about it is I feel like the regulation process and like the laws involved in it. So dad always asks me, like, what all do you want to do? Like, I'm just like, dad, I can handle everything except for regulatory things. Like, I don't want to deal
Correct.
with licensing.
No,
and-
but
Correct.
I believe regulatory things are better because it is for the safety of the customer
Right.
and the developer also. Like
Because
RERA
if-
has come.
Right.
So I feel
No, that is
up to certain level it is essential, but it should be
Not misused.
misused. Correct. There
No,
should
but
not be.
not the RERA and all. I'm saying the process of getting the
Process.
sanction.
It's quite
right,
lengthy,
or
quite
like
lengthy.
all the number of
Single window is just a
NOCs and-
dream.
Single window is a dream,
Absolutely.
but it's very far off.
I
Currently.
think that's a.
But we are
competing with-
getting there. Yeah, I
Right.
think with the whole
The new Bharat is trying to
yeah.
change things
So
slowly
now,
and steadily.
How dad used to say that registration ke time pe there used to be a lot of issues, or like it might have been like a different.
No. Registrar used to just register.
anything.
Yeah.
You just go ahead, tell him, give me a favor, and he will do it. So, I told you about the partnership
Yeah.
problem.
The-
So it was absolutely illegal document, but still,
And how big was the land? Like, if you can-
huge land,
it was a big land.
a very big piece of land, very prime piece of land. But yeah, and his name also came on 712 extract. So,
But now it can't happen again. Like
Yeah, it's
in
much
the
more
future,
difficult.
Like
It's all online. The
Online,
change,
yeah,
you
yeah,
can easily
easy-
track the change.
correct,
किस system से change हुआ,
and each
कैसे change
name
हुआ.
has to match your Aadhaar card and PAN card has to, like, that's also linked. So on the back end, the moment you do a land transaction, you have to add your PAN card.
Right.
PAN card has its own name and its own like database.
Correct.
It checks it with that,
yes,
and if
it
there
with
is a
the
spelling mistake,
biometrics
Right.
with your
Yeah.
eyes and fingerprint.
Lot more
Even-
digitally enabled.
Very much.
even like spelling mistakes and all in documents have reduced a lot because of this.
Right.
Like index tools used to have like a lot of issues in the address and stuff like that, and then people used to only realize it when they are going to sell it or they are mortgaging it.
Right.
Otherwise, nobody cares, right? Like, you give me a piece of paper, this is it, this is it.
Right.
But the technicality, if it's correctly done, I think it's getting there now, and sort of the digitalization helps in this.
Blockchain
whole thing.
definitely.
Blockchain will, but this is just interlinking is also helping a lot.
Right.
There's a
Interlinking
lot
very- yeah,
that
absolutely.
can happen, but just interlinking these systems has helped a lot, and it will just help further once you have more technologies integrated in it.
Right.
So,
Absolutely.
This is a true story. A friend of mine bought about half an acre, about 20 guntas of land, and it was right next to a dam. Right? The agent's like, "Sir, aap aiye," and on the dam you climb up and great
View is
view of the
amazing.
dam,
Absolutely.
and you're super excited. I'll come here, I'll camp during the monsoons and everything, whatever. Bought the land. Then after 1.5 years, I get a phone call. He's like, I want to construct something on it. I asked him where. I saw the location, and it was within 100 meters from the dam. In fact, not in 100 meters, within 50 meters from the dam, fully in the red line.
red line.
Can't construct anything on the land.
Absolutely.
So views were phenomenal.
So
but
these things are very common for a person, a layman going and buying a land,
Right.
and he can't make out whether it has a blue line or a red line.
Right.
If there is a gas line going below it,
Right.
because the grass grows
Right.
and you can't see the boards, and it has certain distance. After that, they have a marking of a gas line. So these things are always there. So going through a professional
Right.
is much more advisable. Even you, after we go through so many legal checks, still in some of the property we received a notice saying that this land belongs to forest.
After-
Oh, ले लिया होगा कि views of the forest are great.
No.
The government records also don't indicate it.
Government record also doesn't show it.
Right.
But when we go 60,
Deep into it.
60, 80 years, that time it was in forest, we received a notice now
My
saying that
After 80 years.
that after that land of say 3 acres belongs to forest. Now there is a difference between a gut number and a survey number, and there are so many things
Right.
into it. But this is a layman cannot go through all these things.
There are a lot of technicalities. Like for example, I have some friends who are architects, okay, and I tell them कि ऐसा plot है, what is the potential I can get out of it, or what is the zone of this. They never tell me the answer straight away. They're like, no, I'll have to go see the regional plan, see this plan, correlate 2-3 things, and then I'll be able to tell you what the potential of it is. So you need to like actually have a very intense study done in the papers, which even frankly I don't understand all of it. Trying to learn along the way.
UCPR is so important, right? Of the
Yeah.
rules, regulations.
Absolutely.
And to all our viewers, please don't depend on the views of the land. Please also look at the title, the government regulations, what you can build, what you can't build, and please seek professional help. And do you also feel there are very less professionals in this business?
It's very unorganized. Like, see, the water will calm you. Seeing the view of the water, it calmed him. But then the papers frustrated him. So same ways. Like there are some people who are good and some people who will frustrate you. And I feel like, but it's definitely like people also change a lot. I feel like they'll show you like one land, or they'll be like, यहाँ से road बन जाएगा, or they show you the future and the possibilities. But how much of that actually translates is a different
Even
story.
for that matter, road, when individual goes on a plot, he goes, the road belongs to somebody else, but the broker or the person who is showing Gawala the land, the person never realizes that this is a private road, and this is not official road. He buys it and then he comes to know that road is actually the road is through forest, and forest never gives a permission. So he lands up in a mess. And I don't think so he can come out of such kind of thing, or then he has to pay 10 times more for the road access. And again, if he has an access of certain, say he takes access for 3 meters, but then his plan will not get sanctioned unless he has a 9-meter road.
9-meter road.
Okay.
Correct.
So he is stuck, and if he wants to sell it, it's impossible for him. So it is always better to buy it through a developer, authentic developer who has a RERA number and a reliable, who has a good track record of no complaints. It's
a
very
professional
important.
who's done all this homework,
Correct.
who's
Absolutely.
made mistakes over the last so many years, and
Who
now
understands
knows,
it.
who understands that,
Right.
okay, this is what we've
Right.
gone, lived it, right? Because imagine having a landlocked land without a road.
Absolutely.
खत्म हो जाएगा आदमी, मतलब you can't
Very
Helicopter se land.
with a pipeline under his
gas pipeline,
gas
and
pipeline under
forest
his-
zone. This is 99
Absolutely.
problems, right?
Absolutely.
Now, Aarav, how is it working in a family business, right? How is it working with your father?
There's a lot of learning and also constant debating. So dad is a little bit more practical when it comes to like designing things, or like the priorities of things that need to be done. For example, like road पहले बनना चाहिए, ये वो हो जाना चाहिए. But whereas I am like something that has to, like if you want to sell it, it has to be Instagrammable.
Yeah.
Make those aspects first, make those things first, like show the amenities, make some designs are impractical.
Right.
Or some things might be impractical, but they look very good, or they give a certain vibe to the place. And it might mean that operationally you might need more ACs, or like, some, like it might not be the most comfortable environment, but yeah. So
It is exactly opposite, I'll say. Means he says some points, but I say many points, because I believe in development. I develop land first, then I make experience center. Okay, all other builders or developers, they make experience center first and they develop land last.
Right.
But the person nowadays, youngsters, they feel they by just seeing experience center, this will be good. But no, you see the actual development. What is there at the site? Which plot you are going to buy? Is it ready? Is it developed? Up to what percent it is developed?
But
that is more important.
a person does not understand what goes underneath it. Like for example, we do soling, then we
Right.
do rolling, then we come up with the GSB layer, and then the concrete road is made. But before that, you need to lay the pipes and put the services inside. A person is not going to understand that, and that is not even seen anywhere. Like if he picks up the chamber cover and sees inside, he will find a pipe and an electric line. But he does not know it exists there. For him, it's like taken for granted कि रास्ता तो रहेगा ही. क्या इसमें क्या बड़ी बात हो
बनाएंगे
गई?
ये लोग.
Correct.
But
it's actually a very
but
big
that
challenge.
is 90% of the job done, and the
Yeah.
10% is then the final like clubhouse and the experience center, which just requires money, does not require any skill, or like there's no like challenge. The challenges
No,
have
the
been faced
basic
in
need
land
is
development.
development and not the experience center. That is what I feel.
Yeah, you're coming from a practical point of view,
Absolutely.
and you're coming from that marketing, that zest,
So
X factor point
yeah.
of view,
So
right?
this debating keeps going on. A
It's
lot
healthy,
of
but it's
like
very healthy.
lot of creative thinking needs to be done in terms of wording it, in terms of like we want to give one thing, but we can't promise it like this. We have to write it like this.
Now in
and
RERA we say motorable road, but we
Right.
give concrete roads.
Right.
So these are the things. There are so many things. We say water from borewell, but
Right.
we give a lift irrigation. We don't promise anything. We give more so that there is no dispute. The person buying doesn't get depressed, or he is not
misguided. He's not misguided.
He is not misguided. So बुरा भी नहीं लगता. He is more happy.
He feels
He
better.
gets extra more. Like if you go to the car dealer,
Under promise, over deliver.
right?
Yeah.
You go to car dealer, you take a delivery of the car. Now there was one dealer in Pune who used to, generally car dealer gives 5 liters of petrol in your tank. There was a dealer in Pune who used to give full tank new car. Makes a hell out of big difference.
Small things go a long way.
Absolutely, absolutely. So these are the things where you get customer satisfaction. So we do the same thing. We underpromise, but we deliver more.
Right.
So that he, at the end of the day, he is buying his life asset, which is the most. We consider that the second home. They call it a second home, but
Right.
I say it's a permanent home. Because where you are, suppose you are living in Mumbai today. So Mumbai, what is the size of your room? Or why you are living in Mumbai? You are living for your work, your profession, to earn money, and you want to send your kids to a city school.
Good school.
That's why, because there are some facilities available, educational and professional facilities available here. But that's not your permanent home. As soon as the vacation starts of kids, the first thing that tomorrow morning we are going to Nanaji's place or Dadaji's place. Why they do that? Because this is not your permanent home. What we say is come to your permanent home. We make permanent homes. Because, and you can walk on the soil, you can live there, you can have all the comforts, amenities and facilities. So now we are doing this project at Pali. There we are creating a facility with all kind of sports: tennis, badminton, squash court, cricket pitch,
We have virtual golf and all those
virtual
things
golf,
planned.
and swimming pool, all kind of thing, table tennis. You name the game, and we are doing that. We have a lake. We have
There are
big lawns.
community aspects also.
Yeah, I
in,
think
like,
you
all
guys
the
are big into community
spaces and
community
yeah.
living, right? So what is that?
It's so basically what Dad was trying to say, like overall life becomes better because like for example, like right now life has become very isolated. Individual from a joint family has come to a nuclear family. Even in the nuclear family, they might live separately, or one person is working throughout the day. He is in his own stress, he's in his own routine, and this has increased the isolation. Okay, and when isolation increases, okay, you're making money, a lot of money or less money, whatever you're making, you're satisfied with it, but your eventual goal is to enjoy it with like-minded individuals, like-minded people. So that's where we are coming up with this like gymkhana, which is going to have a lot of like community things. Like we have a community kitchen, so why should a person, like for example, like your wife or somebody, be responsible for taking care of the kitchen?
Right.
It's her vacation also, it's her life also, she wants to like come enjoy it, so we have a community kitchen. Then for example, somebody like somebody's kid might be interested in football or tennis or golf. He doesn't get a chance to explore it in Bombay, but coming here he will get to explore everything, and he'll find more people that are like-minded doing the same thing, so he makes better quality of
build that
friends, your
community
life.
there as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so the aim is to just like have these shared resources, but a better community outcome. So like kibbutz are there in Israel.
Yeah, absolutely.
So they come together and solve issues, be it like agricultural kibbutz, there are professional kibbutz, so stuff like that. So we are trying to like make a good community. So on the weekends we want to like keep
Not
activity
only
like
weekends,
Vardy
but
painting.
basically it's for the all ages.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, as you are young, you have purchased this. Then over the period, you are developing your circle over there. Plus, breakfast you are having with 100 people. 100 plot owners, 100 bungalow owners, you are having breakfast, you are having lunch, you are having dinner, you are playing with them, you have an interaction. So whole thing is, as you progress in your life, you become alone and alone because you are concentrating on your work. But afterwards, when you reach a certain level, you when you see around, you have no one, you have no friends, no community with you. But here, if you come here, because of this community kitchen and concept like this, you will have the community over there. Your kids have friends from since childhood. Throughout their life, they have their friends. You have your friends. Your wife has your friend. You are not you don't have a concentrated relationship. You have an open relationship. You have adjustment. You have a room for yourself. Every family member has a room for themselves. So this is what is our aim. It is not a second home. It is not a vacation home, but it is a essential. You say a permanent home. You are not staying today in your permanent home. This is your temporary home where you are living in Mumbai or these suburbs. It's only for working. So people, after listening to this, even from Delhi, they are coming and buying with us. They say, yes, yes, you are absolutely right. We want to do this.
And there is also like in another podcast I was listening to, there were concepts of blue zones. Now blue zones are places which have higher life expectancy. People in those zones live greater than 80 years compared to like other zones like
Some
cities and
places
all.
100 plus.
100 plus also. So it's like basically it boils down to like happiness and like your community. Like, so people were smoking there also, people were drinking there also, like that has not changed, lifestyle hasn't changed,
But
but
there's no
the
stress.
happiness
Yeah,
factor
right.
and like the community
Community.
factor makes a very big difference on like existing problems also, right? Like it can just help you with everything and your stress reduces automatically, your quality of life improves. So that's the aim. And I like this one more thing, that whenever somebody comes to dad and says ki Are, if there's any issue or anything, like a customer, old customer comes to the site after 20 years, they come and they're like, Are, ye aise issue hai. He's like, yes, come, we'll solve it together, we are from the same village. Even you own land in this village now, we are from the same village. I really like that approach that he takes, is like we are together in this and now let's solve it together. ठीक है, हो गया रहेगा गलती रजिस्ट्रार से इससे उससे जो भी है, let's do it together, so it's a better outcome. The person doesn't feel alone or helpless.
Correct.
He feels like, no, I have a person who knows, understands this, and he's taking care of it for me, so I am stress free now.
Right.
Things
Even
like that.
we had one incident where a person paid me the amount. He bought 3-4 plots, and he was so happy. He made one house there, and he paid me more for 3-4 plots more. In between, he expired. After a long illness, he expired. A young person, must be 55, 60. Now, after 3 years, his wife contacted me. Said, ki, sir, my CA told me that amount was paid to you. I said, yes, we have the amount, and you come anytime, we'll get the salary executed. Don't worry about it. Now, some person in my office said, sir, उनके पास तो क्या मतलब, why we
Why
can
give
run
it?
away, we can go ahead,
Why do it now?
we can ask more
Yeah.
price because the prices have gone threefold. So let's do that. I said, no, we have promised them. That is where vipassana and ethical practices plays role, and that is where, when he is sitting next to me, he says afterwards, while going home, he was telling me, perfect, I am proud of you, dad, that you are doing this. If something tomorrow happens to you and you have invested somewhere and given some money to somebody, and if he is ready to accept that liability or my things, it is so nice of him. So this is what builds the company, or this is what builds the relationship, and this is what is business all about. Earning money is not the thing. Goodwill, yeah. This is why my father is sitting somewhere there, and he is looking at me. Come on, my grandfather is there, my father is there. So it
Ethics
will
are so
go on.
important in business, and I think every entrepreneur, any industry, Not just jewelry. Should
Absolutely.
definitely follow ethics because in the end, आदमी खाली हाथ ऊपर जाएगा, right?
Correct.
It's your
Absolutely.
deeds that in the end that count.
Yeah.
So I think ethics are extremely important. Now, coming back to the community living angle, right? Aarav, have you seen any difference in what a lot of younger people are buying plots as well?
Absolutely.
From the age group of, I've seen from 25 to 35 as well,
Right.
getting a first plot, and they're
Right.
ecstatic, very, very extremely happy because now banks, I believe banks also have
Banks
leverage,
are
right? ICICI,
financing like
90%.
90%.
90% in some cases.
So it's made it so much more affordable
Yeah.
for the younger people. Now, are there some specific buying preferences of the youth? Like, says, what does a 25 to 35-year-old want? Like, do they want a different type of amenity? What
See,
product preferences do they have?
It depends on the phase of life they are in. I would say, like a person who is just 25 and he started his job. Like we had a customer who was a pilot.
Right.
Okay, so he was, I think, 23 when he got the land,
Right.
and he had just started working in one of these airline companies. And he's like, "Huh, like I want to have an address, okay, which I can call my own. But right now I'm traveling. I don't want to build anything over there, but I want something on my own name. I don't want to take anything from my parents." So he came, he got a land. It's there, it's lying idle. But then his aim is to make a house, stay there, make a life there, because he's like, I'll be so tired of traveling that I will come back here and I want to like live nicely.
Right.
So we have such people. Otherwise, like preferences wise, I feel like I don't know.
We have one customer who has a factory in Panvel. Okay, he purchased first one plot, then he bought one more plot, then he bought his neighbor's plot, then he bought another neighbor's plot, and he is keep on buying. He constructed a museum on his plot. Okay, I told him, why you are, what is it? So in his museum, he constructed a bullock cart, statue of a bullock cart, a farmer, and that they call it in Marathi they call it aad. Aadaचं पाणी काढणे. So they build that well and that aad ka thing. Then they have that zata, Marathi
Right.
call
Chakki,
it chakki, where they put gehu and you get the atta out of it. He constructed everything. I said, what is it? My grandkids, they will have no idea how we used to live. Here I have constructed a museum for them. Like when he was in school, there was a board called dial a meal. He asked me why they write a dial a meal. What is that dial a meal? I said we used to dial a phone. Okay, there was a dial on a phone.
Yeah, that
Right, right, correct. The world is changing so fast, and these kind of things means now he has constructed this museum, and it is so nice. So in fact, whoever comes to that site or that particular site, they bring their kids also to show this museum. Okay, you see this. We
That
used
must
to
be the
have this
first
museum.
time I've heard a person has built a museum
Absolutely.
In a plot.
on a plot. I've never heard of that.
Absolutely.
Very interesting. So it gives people, you can be creative in your own way and a lot of options and diverse
Absolutely.
options. Now, how big is this total land? This current plotted project? How big was it?
So current phase is about 26 acres, and our future phases are bigger. I think overall 100, 200 acres plus is the whole project size,
So
like
launching in
expected.
phases.
Yeah, and we are doing it in phases. So
Now, for example, how much would be you're doing infra? Forming a community living sounds very
It's
good, but
hard.
forming that community is very expensive. You have to create clubhouses, you have to create the amenities.
Right.
How much would that cost approximately per
if
square foot?
if
Is it-
if you see it is always like this. Now if we start with say basic infrastructure like sanctioning of transformer,
Right.
okay, now you go to any site and or an individual, like your previous question was the individual, what is wrong. See now with this electricity board will tell you, okay, you cannot take so much of load.
Right.
Sanction load, you have to take a sanction load, you have to fix a transformer. Individual cannot do that.
Right.
We have sanctions for the transformer. We have calculated the loads. We have everything. Over the period now, if you see our gymkhana, it is so huge, this facility.
Right.
So we develop small amenities everywhere,
Within
but
this.
within the plotting. But this facility is available, which costs very high. But over the period, it will definitely be a viable thing.
Right.
It will
It must be not viable for the first 10 acres or 20 acres. because-
absolutely.
It's like a chicken and the egg problem, right? Like, do you create good facilities first, or do you create the infra first? And like, it's like you have to do everything simultaneously. So
Yeah, of course.
So a
Because then it
customer-
justifies the total.
Absolutely,
total.
absolutely. So customers should go for a bigger schemes where you have a better facilities. If you go for smaller schemes, fly by night developers, then these things
It's
cannot be
very
achieved.
common, in NA plot projects. Specifically if I were to take some belts, Shahpur, Murbad, a lot of times I've seen developers selling NA plots, right? And they just sell it.
वो खंडर हो जाता
They
है.
subdivide it, chalo, at least that the good ones do there, but zero development, no road, nothing.
Nothing.
And in the last 20 years, not one person has built a bungalow on those.
So
Because how do you even build? There's no road. He's not given any amenity.
No, and also I have seen a projects where one bungalow is blue color, one bungalow is red color,
That's the yes.
That's-
one bungalow is yellow color, and one bungalow is ground floor structure, one is a 3-story structure, one is a sleek one is a sloping roof.
Right.
Is n number of buildings with n number of designs and colors and various things. Now for that we have our own building code.
Yeah.
So you follow that building code, and it helps our community, means the whole project will look
the aesthetical
quite
integrity is
Because otherwise
protected.
it looks so funny, right? You've
Absolutely.
you've given the clubhouse, it'll be in a certain aesthetic.
Yeah.
You divided the plots, right? It's looking very good. And then suddenly people can't control, right? Yellow,
Randomness,
pink, orange,
yeah.
different colors. So the entire
Absolutely.
township will look funny. So you have a proper building code within your gated community,
Absolutely,
that there's a
absolutely.
certain style.
It's certain rules and regulations that you should follow to be respectful to your neighbors. That's part A of that building code. Part B is the architectural aesthetically protection of the community. Like, you can't touch any common areas. They all have to look in a certain way. Your exterior facing compound walls need to look in a certain way. Then when you're constructing also, there's a height restriction, there's a roof color sort of preference that we like give them, like, these are the 4 options, please select from this. See, it's a very open-ended also, but it's also at the same time protecting like the future buyers or like their neighbors.
It should look.
It should look, yeah.
You feel good to live in.
You feel good.
Feel pleasant.
Because people are subjective tastes.
Even
Exactly.
no developer in his document has a clause saying you can't keep pets. If you want to keep pets, you have to take 90% of members' permission.
Right.
Now what happens is, suppose you have a dog or you have a cow, okay, you are keeping it in your home, and now you are in Mumbai and your dog is barking whole night. The neighbor is getting disturbed. So we don't say no, but you should be clear that yes, I have to take care of these points.
Like,
now,
nobody
if I
does-
keep,
This is making the person more responsible
correct,
Yeah.
for their pet.
it
All
keeps
these
the
are-
harmony in it.
Absolutely. Now, do you think that COVID, before COVID, after
Oh.
COVID, there's been a lot of change, in real estate.
100%,
So,
100%.
describe to me your experience after, just a little bit before and after COVID, the trajectory of this segment, this holiday home, vacation
No,
home segment.
I'll answer. See, I told you this is a permanent home.
Right.
Okay, the most important point. This is a permanent home. As I told you, in COVID they realize where we are living is not a permanent home. That time they realize, and they accept my point now. Yes, this is a permanent home.
Want to be close to nature.
Yeah.
Not a second home, but a permanent home. Okay, at any stage of life. Even because initially they used to think, when I'll retire, I'll buy a second home or some home there, and then I'll shift and do this and that. But here, a 25-year-old, 30-year, like he said, 25-year-old person is thinking of buying a house there because he knows, I started from today, why wait for retirement? Even I can improve my Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night, Monday I am back to work. Monday morning, because it is at the stone's throw.
And
Distance is not much.
sustained development is helpful for it to age better also, and like it's a little pocket friendly also for the person.
Right.
And like during COVID also, like people started realizing that apartments are too small that they stay in currently. And dad also had a very good idea of like putting the camp. Everybody was like balcony mein ye kiya wo kiya, and then his thing was just put a board. Balcony is not enough. And like just
get a bigger
get a plot,
get a
like
villa.
get openness, get out of cities, and then plus the whole work from home shift started.
I think that was very important as well,
Yeah.
right? The digital Zoom meetings,
Absolutely.
Google meetings.
There are so many people. Means I have seen they work from second home.
They
Absolutely.
This
work
kind of
from
yeah,
from
absolutely.
project. They
I
have
have
no
a lot of
issues.
friends sir, who are, especially the stock market people, right?
Absolutely.
I don't need to be in Bombay, right? Markets are all online.
Absolutely.
They permanently shifted to
Yeah.
Alibag.
And anyways, they do shero ka kaam.
Yeah,
You ask them, what do you do? Shero ka kaam. Sher is in the forest.
yeah.
Jungle outside city. Sher is not in the city. Come on, do
And
shero
they-
ka kaam
and
from
exactly,
there.
and they need less stress in their life when they are on tracking the market.
Absolutely.
It's
And-
stressful enough.
And like basic infra now, when dad used to say basic infra we are giving, it used to be like electric connection, water connection. Now it's like fiber connection bhi hai, aap aa jao. Things like that has also like changed our mindset to the development after COVID. And I think it's again like everybody's interests start coming together, and then the community aspect again like needs to be stronger for the person to like it and enjoy it. And
Right.
so
No, absolutely. I think it was a big change in people's mindset. It was
Yeah.
needed.
Absolutely.
The nature has always been there for us, but we never kind of appreciated it till COVID. It had to take a pandemic to, make all of us realize that okay, I miss nature. I need bigger homes with a backyard, a garden.
Absolutely.
like even during
Terrace
I think, with swine flu and all, people also started realizing they live too close to like other people, and these pandemics are becoming more and more like scary that anything can happen. And COVID was literally like within 2-3 months it spreads like wildfire, and suddenly everybody's lifestyle, everybody's thinking changed. And
Right.
and it came in so fast, it went also pretty quickly, 3 years, but those 3 years could have been way more fruitful, like if you had something like this, or like if you worked on some side passion projects and stuff like that.
People who had already farmhouses
They were
before
only living
COVID,
there. Yeah.
they were just for 2 years there.
Yeah.
And they had
Absolutely.
like a,
Absolutely.
They
a good
improve,
life.
you improve family relations with that. Like parents moved back, ki chalo theek hai, we'll go stay together at the farmhouse or like this thing. So yeah, definitely COVID has seen positive changes.
And we saw a lot of appreciation as well.
Absolutely.
4-5x of crazy land
No,
appreciation.
that is okay, but I feel land appreciation is always there.
Yes.
You go through from last 50 years, it's just going up.
I mean,
It's
look at this
not-
story. What a case study we have, guys, today. From 50 paise to 1200 rupees per square foot. That is a great case study to have, and that shows that a person should be in it for the long run.
Absolutely.
Fundamental, like Warren Buffett says, right? Be in the stock for the long run.
Correct.
So, similar logic, and it's great to hear such stories. And now, speaking of appreciation, right? Say something like in a plotted development scheme in yours, say if somebody were to buy a plot, a 2000 square foot plot, what appreciation could it potentially give in 5 to 10 years?
Huh?
Like right now,
Histor-
capital
Good health,
health. Yes,
good health,
right.
and he will not sell the plot. He will not sell the plot. In
Health is wealth.
So it's
our scheme,
unrealized.
it's a community living, and he will not sell the plot.
Right.
You won't get a plot. I don't agree with you that after 10 years in this
No
today's
one's
scheme,
going to resell the plot.
No one is going to sell.
It's so precious.
Absolutely.
That's what happens with a good product, right?
Absolutely.
With even in Bombay, we've seen if you see legendary buildings, are buildings because of the gentry. The crowd is very good in the buildings,
Correct.
like-minded crowd. No one is selling, and even if they do sell,
No, you see, I give
neighbor
you
ही खरीद लेता है.
example of a building. Say there is one building called Usha Kiran, if you know.
Yeah, of course, Altamont Road. Yes, absolutely.
I don't see any flat comes there for resale.
Yeah, nothing.
No chance.
और आया भी तो अंदर ही उठ जाएगा वो.
Absolutely.
Even the society we stay in,
Absolutely.
people are fighting to like get a plot ki like there are better societies available. but nobody wants to leave the community of like our 40 bungalows. It's so strong. We know each and every neighbor. We know each and every person's routine, and like it's like very harmonious. Like, and it's just a better feeling than going into a more prestigious society sometimes and not knowing your neighbors, because that is what happens also. Like,
Arav, has it ever happened where y'all have seen the same land and maybe one of y'all have liked the land and the other has not liked the land?
yeah,
That happens?
that has happened, and it was a really good deal.
Can you tell me the story? I want to hear this.
It was one plot in Baner, okay, like it's an area in Pune, and again the construction or land aspect also was a little bit of a debate there. And then it was a smaller plot, and he's like, "ये क्या करेगा तू छोटे plot में? तू will go for bigger lands and like bigger projects." So that has happened
Okay, so because of the size, he did not like it. He likes
because the
big-
size and the fact that it wasn't land, it was like actually like I was going to construct it. So then, yeah.
See, our customer should always be in profit. If you buy a concrete, it's depreciating. If you buy land, it's appreciating. So it's always better to buy a land with a proper bungalow or a house which is actually useful for you. And nowadays Airbnb kind of things are also there where you can rent out your bungalow when you are
You get
not
supplemental
utilizing.
income also. So then on paper it starts looking better and better to do the other thing, and that's where like dad was like, okay, you're going to take so much, you're going to work for 2 years, 3 years dedicatedly on that. If you put 100 rupees, you're going to get 100 rupees back. But in a place like where land, you put 100 rupees, the upside is infinite. Like
Even for your customers, same thing.
and they'll be happy.
they'll be happy.
Absolutely.
I had a great time on this podcast with both of
Yes.
y'all. Thank you for giving out your time. And just before we depart, right, final question would be, anyone who wants to get into the land banking business, what would be your word of advice for them?
See, in basic trade of land is like this. If you understand the land price is 100 rupees, if you want to buy the land, you should be able to pay. You should be accepting the price 120 rupees. So you will get that property. And when you want to sell it, the price is 100 rupees. You sell it in 80 rupees, it will get sold. So always there is a difference of this 80, 100 and 120 rupees. This difference is always there. So if you want to go for a long-term investment or land banking, then you should be prepared that if you go for short term, you will lose this, and if you go for long term, that 120 will become 500 rupees, and you will not have a pinch. So it is always better to go for a long term proposal of a land, and though it is not 100, you are not getting it in 100 rupees, but 120 rupees, still you will be in profit.
Which is quality land.
Quality land.
Yeah.
So quality always over quantity.
Absolutely.
Pay the little extra, get the quality, and then just wait. It
And
will
even
appreciate.
your deal goes through.
Huh.
Even your deal goes through because the person who is selling, he always
also
feels
happy.
my land cost is not 100 but 120 rupees because it's my land. He feels it's an excellent land. And the person who is buying the land, he says, तुम्हारा land में तो ऐसा है वैसा है. Okay.
Starting
So
से then
the
फिर
deal-
वो-
the deal
हाँ.
So
happen.
give it 80 rupees में दो हमको.
Right.
But the person who is ready to buy it 120, he will strike a deal.
Absolutely.
So getting what you want is more important because you buy real estate very few times.
Right.
It's very important. It's very precious.
And like you said, each land has a vibration. It's
Yeah.
unique, like a fingerprint,
Absolutely.
right? Like for example, look at Bombay, for example, right? You have Marine Drive and Marine Lines. They're 50 meters
Different
apart.
stories.
Absolutely.
But what
Total
a
difference.
total difference.
World
right?
of a difference.
2x the rate, to
Absolutely.
3x the rate. So
Absolutely.
I think that premium of 20 rupees you're paying will go a long way to.
And it'll help you sell it faster also in the future, right?
Absolutely.
तो मैं ऐसे भी कहूँगा, I will say this also, I will add into it that one should invest or one should buy a plot also. Not only people, what generally people do is they just buy one flat, then another flat or third flat. Even the people who are selling the flats, they should sell land also. They should pitch land also. So the investor comes to know that yes, we have a good land options which are approved by RERA and which will give me more return.
Also, like he's staying in one house, right? Like you don't need more than one house. Your need is getting solved. Then you are doing it for a true investment, and the investment on a house is like a depreciating asset. Whereas in a land, it's appreciating asset. Plus, you have the freedom to like get secondary income from it, be it in the case of like Airbnb or rentals, or you make another business on the land. Land is utilizable and it has more upside than a flat would ever have.
Right. So you're saying that an investor should diversify his portfolio,
Absolutely, absolutely.
and an agent should also diversify his offering to the client.
I will go further one step. That first you should buy a land, then you should look out for a flat. You can always rent a flat. You cannot rent a land.
Or
I'll
the-
always say that for your permanent home, that you please think over it. Means permanent home is the concept. You have to think over your permanent home. Why you are living this life, where you are heading, how miserably you are living. In fact, people are living miserably. You see it, how much traffic, what is going on. There is no culture remain, no ethics remain. But peace of mind. Tell me when you saw stars last time, when you walked on soil last time. No chance. You don't know when is the full moon, when is the no moon day. You never come to know when you had a bath in river. No ways. When you had bath in waterfall. No ways. Come, enjoy your life, live your life, be peaceful. And now they say infrastructure. Now, this one more point I want to say. When you select a piece of project, how you select. So the vicinity of the project is so important. Like, agar individually they purchase a plot, then what happens is the distance from the town. Okay, you don't know. So present, I see so many projects. They are middle of nowhere. They are on the highways. They are on the state highways. Whereas if they need anything, they have to go all the way to the town, 10 kilometers, 12 kilometers. Whereas whenever we select our site, it is close to the town. So you can go to the market every evening. So you have again the contacts, your shopkeepers, convenience is there.
Plus, you get
Okay.
like local help, like all your services are taken care of. It becomes easier to start your thing as
And
well.
So practical. I mean,
Yeah.
If you live in this kind of an environment, you don't even need a hospital.
right.
Why you need a hospital for that? So it is excellent. Means it should be well thought purchase. When you invest, it's your lifetime saving. So you have to see where you are giving, whom you are giving. It's very extremely important. So one must take care of these things. You
I
can
think you
enjoy
summarized
his
it
property, yeah.
really well. And awesome, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Aarav. Thank you so much. It was an absolute pleasure.